Welcome to Space Engineers, Starboat 96. I am your host and a narrator, Mr. Raymond Blair. Before going to work, I am watching a film called Ukrainian Wartime Girls. It is a nice flick, but it has no plot. However, it does motivate me to face the daily grind. The daily grind for today is to inspect the structural integrity of the conveyor system. This entails crawling through all the tight areas of the Starboat, with many areas being extremely hot. Usually, though, the nanos keep these sort of things tidy, but it is good protocol to have a physical inspection and a log routine. The second thing on the list for today is a patrol of the surrounding space. This is a routine that allows for me to clear an area before moving the Starboat to the next objective. However, I find a wreck in the vicinity. As I move in, it becomes evident that some of the wreck's weapon systems are still active. My heart jumps a beat because the Mark IV is only lightly armored, and that 200mm rocket turret is firing salvos at me. Luckily for me, the rocket turret only has a limited amount of ammunition, of which all of them miss. Two external 5.56mm light turret deployments engage me and shoot holes all up and down the Mark IV. But these emplacements are too light for any substantial or dangerous penetrations. Usually these are deployed to keep boarders from entering a vessel or off the hull. Still, they can harass a light vehicle like the Mark IV to great effect. Sometimes, as in the case of reaver infestation, these emplacements are placed to keep things contained. Ah yes, just what I thought. Reavers. Also, I left my rifle at home. That's the Starboat, of course. So all I have is this sidearm. And have you seen previous episodes? Then you know that this thing is like firing a BB gun at a black bear. That is to say, it's just not that effective. So as I crawl through this wreck, this is all I have. I gots to make do because a beggar cannot be a chooser. And it does work, just not very good. Luckily, it is just zombies within this wreck, as the replicant bots might be too much to handle. I am getting better at my 0G shooting though. You might have noticed that I have a red triangle with an exclamation point flashing in the middle of my HUD visor. That is because I spent too much time killing reavers, and I did not bring any extra bottles of life support. Although I made it back to the Mariner in time and did not suffocate, the Mark IV suffered a lot of damage. Luckily, the Mariner has a lot of extra parts and bottles of life support, and I should really consider replacing this upper turret with a life support module. In the meantime, I must go through and make and remake the modifications needed to the Mark IV due to my experience. In my report to Lunar Command, however, I will mention this difficulty, and maybe they will send me a solution blueprint. Until then, I just need to accept the old adage. Good enough. It does not need to be perfect. After a sleep cycle to rest and rejuvenate the old bones, it is back to work disassembling this wreck. Let's just pause and take a look at the stars, shall we? 3 planets are in the distance, although they are not easily visible to the naked eye. Now that I have taken that break to do some stargazing, this is an opportune time to work on the bridge airlock. Currently, all the air within the airlock blows out when I open the hatch and does not repressurize until I open the inner door. This is clearly a problem, and after engineering a solution, I will need to turn on the engines because the batteries are getting just a little bit too low for my comfort. After breaking down the wrecked vessel, there is a need for cargo redistribution between the Starboat and the Mariner. I am flying to the Mariner as the autopilot of the Mariner is not sophisticated enough, so I must dock the 2 vessels together manually. I really do enjoy being at the helm of the Mariner, although it is of an older Martian design, so it has a completely different feel to it than that of the Starboat. Pulling up alongside the Starboat, it is easy to see the class differences between the 2 vessels. The Mariner has a nuclear electric power plant on a light hull, weighing only around 1,800 tons displacement, whereas the Starboat is a hydrogen hybrid power plant with heavy hull, and it weighs around 8,000 tons displacement. I must say that my off-station docking is a little to be desired when it comes to the alignment of these vessels. It is good enough, and despite the odd angle of attachment, the connectors lock together nonetheless. So while the cargo transfer happens, I busy myself with gangplank construction of the Mariner. Another day, another patrol. On this patrol, a light drone is hidden by a large asteroid, and it ambushes me in the Mark IV as I do a flyby. This can only mean that someone is watching me, probably the pirate community, as they all heard about my nuking of one of their asteroid facilities in the last episode, I'm pretty sure. It is quite the dogfight, but the M4 proves itself yet again, and I am a human pilot, so really the SPRT drone has no chance once it was discovered. I cannot help myself. I have to hoard every bit of scrap I come across, and this drone is no exception. The landing gear magnets will do well enough to get this junk back to the Starboat. Here is something I like to do whenever the opportunity presents itself, and that is to do an EVA walk around an asteroid. They are kind of like mini planets, with a day and a night. Although they are usually small enough so it only takes just a small amount of time to circumnavigate. What a relaxing stroll. With that out of my system, it is time to go back to the Starboat. First, though, I received quite a few bullet holes from this junk pile that is now in tow of the Mark IV. So some minor repairs with my hand torch will ensure that there are no accidents as I return. Grinding down some of the fires on the drone husk will also reduce the possibility of an accident as well. With all of this out of the way, let's just go home, shall we? Here is all of my well-laid plans brought to nothing. With all the care that was taken to ensure the safety, I forgot to call ahead to the Starboat and turn off the auxiliary turrets. So the Starboat identifies the junk in tow as an enemy target and is shooting it out from underneath me. At least I repaired the cockpit so there are no accidental bullet penetrations. This has got to be a positive from this otherwise disaster. After the cargo redistribution is complete, there is nothing more to do today but to moor the Mariner out into space and set the autopilot so that it can reform into formation. This also brings us to the end of our episode, and I do hope this couple of days in the life of the Starboat 96 captain brings you joy for the week. Please take care.